I need to rant or else I'm going to explode. I don't know what's gonna happen when I sit down and edit all this. It's gonna be a mess. Hello, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Peyton. How we all doing, fam? It is November 12th. It's been a pretty rough week. I think if you've been following me on here or on social media, I think you have a pretty clear understanding of what kind of person I am, what kind of values I hold, to say the least. The news of last week was really devastating. I'm not gonna go too deep into it. At this point, I feel like I might be shouting into the echo chamber. It's just really sad and disheartening and disturbing. I've been dealing with a lot of up and down emotions since last week. I think for this vlog, I didn't really have anything planned. I didn't upload a video last week because I couldn't do it. I think for this one, I've just been needing to keep my mind busy. Reading's been fine. It's been a little difficult to just sit and read with all the thoughts swirling around, and it's been hard to take my mind off of current affairs. But I think for this vlog, in order to keep my hands and my mind busy, I'm going to do some crafts. I mean, I've mentioned this before, but I love making art. I love painting. I got my sketchbook out. I've been drawing again. I just love it. So I think what I'm gonna do is take you guys along for some knitting. I'm almost done with the yoke part of the sweater I'm knitting. Separate the sleeves, hopefully. And if any of my friends out there who are knitters and who've made sweaters know, at least for me, separating the sleeves is like the most stressful part for me, and then like I can breathe. So yeah, I'll get to see the sweater I'm working on. I might start some Christmas gifts. I'm planning to make some felt ornaments, like letters of my family members. Crafting, knitting, and then I'm also about 50 pages into Empire the Vampire. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's exactly what I want to read right now. And I also have the audiobook too, so while I'm knitting and drawing, I can listen to this and take some annotations as well. I've already had quite the few, but this is really fun. I'll talk about more of the plot once I'm further into it. It's just, again, 50 pages into it. It's like the barest plot. But what I can talk about is this is set in a world where vampires reign over humans, and it's been that way for a very long time, nearly 3 decades, because there hasn't really been true sunlight. It's been kind of this darker, what do they call it? Day's death. Day's death occurred. So vampires are reigning supreme in this world, and the main character, Gabriel de Leon, is a silver saint who is a member of this regime. They're tasked to defend the realm and the church from vampires. Their numbers have been dwindling and dwindling because there's been so many, like the vampires have been non-stop since Day's death, and so only Gabriel remains, and he has been captured by vampires, and he is sitting with an historian telling his story starting from the beginning, when he was a young boy up until right now. I think he just got picked up by the Brotherhood, the Silver Saints. So I've heard this is described as Interview with a Vampire meets Name of the Wind. I've never read Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, but Interview with a Vampire is chef's kiss. Love it so much. So I'm definitely gonna interview this vampire so far because he's just sitting and telling his story. I really love it. It's very long, so I may or may not finish it in this vlog. I do want to dedicate a lot of time this week to reading it and getting farther in, because there's still quite a few books I want to read before the end of the year. I don't know if I've talked about this, but I definitely want to start my Brandon Sanderson Stormlight or Cosmere journey and get caught up so I could start reading Stormlight Archives. I'm starting with Mistborn. I'll put this down, sorry. I'm starting with Mistborn, and then I'll go into Stormlight, but I haven't even started Mistborn, so I think that's going to be my main priority in December, is reading Brandon Sanderson. So before that, there's still quite a few books I want to get to, so I would like to get through this book. If I don't get to the books, again, it's the new year. The new year's coming up, new reading. My birthday's coming up in a few weeks. And yeah, I'm almost done with my 5K training, and then we have a 5K. We're doing the turkey trot, so you might see some images of that, and if I survive. And then also good news, I signed up I'm running for charity. Next year I will be running the Chicago Marathon. I'm running for Alive Rescue, which is an animal rescue. I'll link my page down below for donations. They're a great organization. I'm really proud and excited to be running for them. Yeah, so I have like a little bit less than a year to train, and I'm doing my first 5K Thanksgiving Day. I have some stuff to look forward to in all this dark shit that's been going on. But without further ado, let's do some crafts. Let's read some books about vampires. Let's just be kind to ourselves and take it easy. And I will talk to you all in a bit. I wasn't planning to talk about this, but I can't not talk about it. I need to rant. I need to rant or else I'm going to explode. If it just stays inside, So last night, I had the pleasure or displeasure of seeing Gladiator II, which I wouldn't say it was a movie I was like overly looking forward to. I think like most of us, the draw of Pedro Pascal and Paul Mescal in skirts and fighting and biceps and all, I think that was the main reason I think most of us were going to see it. And I didn't expect it to be like Ridley Scott's magnum opus. And I definitely didn't expect for it to be anywhere near as good as the first Gladiator movie. It was not good. It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Maybe I'm just turned into like that big of a snob where I just can't enjoy something. I don't know if they thought they made the best movie ever, I think the team, producers, whatever, Ridley Scott, the writer, who's the same writer from the first, it's the same team, basically the same team creatives behind the first movie, which is one of my favorite movies. I adore that movie. It's so beautiful. But Gladiator 2 was not beautiful. No, it's not good. I have a list, but before I say anything, I'm definitely going to spoil this movie, like 110%. So if you have no intention of hearing me rant about Gladiator 2 and spoiling Gladiator 2, please skip ahead in this vlog, which I don't even know what this vlog has turned into at this point, because it's been like over a week since I've talked to y'all. Anyway, Gladiator 2, it was very stale. I was not entertained. Let me look at my list. Okay, Gladiator 2, and I don't remember any of the characters' names. I'm sorry. So I'm just gonna refer to them as their actor name. Like their actual name. Actor name. I don't see what the point of any of it was. It was almost exactly the same plot as the first one, same movie, but just not as good, like at all. Like all the emotional depth and beauty of the first Gladiator was like thrown out the window. It's like, nah. We don't want to tread that territory. But it's like they did, but they did it so much worse at like a much faster pace. The movie moved so fast. It was like breakneck speed that they were fitting into like an over 2-hour movie. And there were two plots going on too. Like the main plot of like Paul Mescal, his city gets attacked by Pedro Pascal, Rome. He gets captured and taken and fights for his life and for his freedom, much like his dad did in the first one. Currently in Rome, there are two emperors, twins, who are Joseph Quinn and some other dude who really wasn't that great. And they are basically like the pimple on the butt of Rome. Like, they don't do a great job. They are very eccentric and loud and crave violence. There's no sense of peace in Rome. And Pedro Pascal is married to Paul Mescal's mommy, and who Russell Crowe was with in the first movie. So all that's the little, what is it called? 7 degrees? That's their family. 7 degrees. Their family. Their family. And Pedro Pascal is currently married to her. But Paul Mescal wants revenge for the taking of his village, but more importantly, the death of his wife, which I thought was so ridiculous. It's so cheesy and over the top. I don't think Paul Mescal was a good choice for this movie. And I hate saying that because I adore him. Like, I've seen him in everything, almost everything he's been in. I think I fell in love with him when everyone else did when he was Connell in Normal People. I think I prefer seeing him play sad, depressed men who I can fix because that's my toxic trait, or was my toxic trait. I can fix him. He's so sad. I'm still not over After Sun. That movie had me sobbing, boogers coming out of my nose, crying so hard at that movie. It was weird seeing him try and be a commanding presence. Like, and have men follow him, and like he gives like these, I wouldn't say rousing speeches to the other gladiators or slaves that he's with. It's nothing like Russell Crowe. So like when he's giving these, like, and his voice is so deep, like obviously he has an Irish accent, but his voice is so like comically deep that it just sounds stupid. And for whatever reason, he's just like, every shot of him for most, especially in the latter part of the movie, he's like, I'm sure the dude's tired. He's out there fighting rhinos. There's a dude riding a rhino who's like one of the first fights. Then there's like a sea like fight, but in the Coliseum, and there's sharks in the Coliseum, like in the water. They had salt water. They got salt water to that much salt water, so they had this fake naval battle. Oh, let me back up. I'm going on like such a tear. It's already 7 minutes long. Jesus Christ. Paul Mescal and Pedro Pascal and Paul's mom, whatever, Maximus's ex-fling, know that the twins are killing Rome and harmful, and they have this secret little plot that isn't so secret because there's like 20 other people involved. The senators who like want to overthrow them and take back Rome for the Senate. So there's that plot going on, plus Paul Mescal trying to get revenge and survive. His master happens to be Denzel Washington, who is actually really good in this movie. He's just really good at playing crazy, domineering leaders, presences. The thing that was so funny to me is everyone in that movie, every single actor did something with their voice. Like whether, like even Pedro Pascal had like a super deep voice. For Rome! Super deep voice. Or like some type of accent or like their voices sounded so different than how you've normally heard them. Except Denzel Washington. He just like rolls into ancient Rome with a New York accent. And all I could picture, like, the whole movie was, like, he was just playing his character in Training Day and him, like, laughing. You know how he laughs in Training Day? Anyway, Paul keeps surviving round after round. They literally do everything to kill this man. Baboons, sharks, giant, I'm assuming he was Irish. He had, like, super red hair. Irish, giant, sharks, other... I feel like I'm missing one. Am I missing one? All the fights were so repetitive too. And then Paul Mescal does stuff with like the sand like his dad did, and they're like, oh, it must be him. He must be my son. And he can quote Plato? What? This peasant? And it's like click, 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 click. Oh, he's my kid! Oh, Moose's food bowl's going on. They figure that out later towards the movie, and when everything like is falling down and Denzel character is like taking more charge because he takes out like the two twins because he gets promoted to so high up in the emperor's close guard, whatever, and he like tells on Pedro Pascal and the mom, and so they get detained for trying to cause an insurrection and and so they're like put to death, and Paul's like supposed to kill Pedro. He doesn't do it. At the last minute he's like, oh, I just forgot all the reasons I'm mad at you. I know you killed my wife, but my mom loves you. I guess I can't kill you. It was like a split second that he's like, oh, I'm not gonna kill him. And then all the crowd in Rome is like, yes, this is a good man. This is how Rome should be. And then, so like, Rome is just going to shit with the twins, and Denzel takes care of them. But at the same time, I swear they lose like 4 emperors in this, like, they go from emperor to emperor to emperor in like the span of 6 hours. Like, the timeline's nuts. Pedro Pascal had an army of 5,000 men behind him to take over, who were just waiting for his signal. So Paul's like, hey, I'm actually Marcus Aurelius's grandson, so I'm the true emperor. Here's this ring. Tell them I need them now. And so this dude goes off and gets them. They come back. Him and Denzel have this big brawl and fight, and Paul's like, we don't have to fight. We don't have to do this. And then, yeah, he like slices open Denzel Washington's stomach in the middle of a river, and he comes out and he throws his sword down. It's like, it doesn't have to be like this, and da 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 da. A new Rome, a better Rome, or whatever the fuck he says. Like, there's so much like one-liners from the first movie that came in, but there's also these new stupid one-liners that something about like, my turn to cross the river, or like blah 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 blah. And like, cause they set it up like you think he's gonna die like his dad, and spoiler alert, he doesn't die. He crawls out of the river, throws his sword down, gives his speech. They zoom in on his like face where he's like, and then the screen goes to black. It's so bad. I've never complained that a movie was poorly edited before, and because I've never really had a prime example, but I'm like, here you go. Gladiator II being one of the worst movies I've ever seen was not on my bingo card. No way. So that's my first movie review for this channel. It's really bad. But then, yeah, I go on Letterboxd, there's all these like really positive reviews about if you take away all the, obviously it's very inaccurate in on multiple ways, and it's more just a bro-y action movie, or like just like to go stare at Pedro Pascal and Paul Mescal. Great, then you'll love it. I just couldn't stop laughing my ass off for the 2.5 hour runtime. It just kind of got worse and worse. Yeah, that was Gladiator 2. I really want to see Heretic. I definitely want to go see Heretic. Maybe I'll do that soon. I don't know. I don't know how to incorporate film reviews on this. If it's just I make separate videos, or let me know what you think. Should I just make separate videos about anytime I'm talking about movie stuff? Unless it's like a vlog or it's like a compare list. Let me know. I don't know if I should keep them separate or if you all care enough if they're different or in the same. But I'll figure that out. Anyway, I'm gonna go eat some cookies because I made more cookies. Oh god, I'm like 60-70% through Empire of the Vampire. I don't even know how to talk about it. I haven't really been in a great headspace for reading the last 2 weeks since, you know, something really important and upsetting and devastating happened a couple weeks ago. So I haven't really been in the mood to read. I've been too fatigued, sad, disappointed. There's other stuff going on too, like work. Just been really busy, and I'm very ready for my birthday in a few weeks and Christmas. I love Christmas. I'm just trying to have as much things to look forward to as I can. And I just haven't been really wanting to sit down and read that much. But I'm 70 or so percent through Empire of the Vampire. Really complex. Don't know how I'm going to talk about it without spoiling a lot of stuff. So I gotta figure that out. I like it a lot. I just haven't been in a great headspace to read it. It's very layered, and there's so much Jay Kristoff like created this really cool, unique vampire lore, and I think it would actually be an epic show. Like if HBO or whoever did it, I think it would be epic. I'm getting strong Castlevania vibes from it. I did rewatch the first episode of Castlevania on the Netflix series. I have never finished it, so maybe once I have a book I'm sure I'll have a book hangover from this because it's nearly 800 pages. That's the one thing. I don't know if it needed to be, but I'm really enjoying the ride. It's very violent, blood-soaked. I love it. It's just like, I don't know. I've heard people compare it to Bloodborne. Totally see it. If you like Bloodborne, like I do, it's one of my favorite games. Empire of the Vampires, a really good matchup. Anyway, I'm gonna go eat a cookie, read more of my book, and I'll update you soon. Probably tomorrow. Bye. Guess what? It took me most of the month, but I did finish interview. Wow. Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. I ended up really, really liking this. I was unsure for a good portion of it if this was just gonna be like a 3.5, maybe 4-star. Like, really liked it, didn't love it. The last 50 pages, oh wow, this is great. There's so many things about this book I really liked. I love the dialogue between the characters. I think Jay Kristoff's really good at writing dialogue with big groups of characters because there's like this found family aspect in it with Gabrielle, this ragtag group of individuals coming together to find the Holy Grail, and the one person who knows its whereabouts named Dior. And I really liked their banter, especially by the end of it. And I ended up just really liking it. And the last 50 pages were like, oh, whoa. I like all the lore with all the vampires, the world. Oh, it did become very cinematic, like playing pictures in my head, like, wow, it reminded me of Castlevania, it reminded me of Bloodborne. Like, I loved it. If you love those things, definitely pick this up. I will say it is a big slow burn for a lot of this book, and I love slow burn, so I'm like not complaining too much, especially with fantasy. Like, look how floppy this is. Empire of the Damned, the paperback doesn't come out I think until May or March next year. So I think I'm gonna get the book from the library because I really want to read it because there's a cliffhanger And I think this is a duology. Empire of the Damned came out earlier this year. I think this is a duology. And I feel like if I don't read it, like a lot of series, I still haven't finished. Oh my god, why can't I think of it? I still haven't finished the duology, the other vampire duology. Oh, Silver Under Nightfall, the Reaper series by Richard Pecco. I have the second book. I still haven't picked it up because I heard it wasn't that great. But I've heard the series, book 1 and book 2, is impeccable. I can just speak for book 1. I really enjoyed it, but I feel like if I don't read the second one soon, I'm gonna forget a lot. I really love this. I loved Gabrielle as a character so much. I love the interview aspect of it, the lore of the vampires, the action. It's very bloody, violent. Awesome book. I loved all the characters. Even the bad ones I really enjoyed. This was excellent. Excellent. I don't know what I'm gonna rate it. Maybe 4.5, because I did struggle with getting through some of it, but I don't think that was entirely the book's fault. I think it's more my mindset. I think this would be an epic reread one day. So, I know this. I don't know what the footage is for this vlog anymore, because I haven't really been filming. Today, I'm getting brunch with my friend, then I'm going to come back, and I'm really in the mood because it started somewhat snowing this week in Minnesota. It's all gone now because it's gonna be like 40 degrees today, but I think the plan for the day is I'm going to, oh my god, work on my sweater. I still haven't separated the sleeves yet. It's driving me crazy that I haven't gotten that far. This is gonna be so pretty when it's done though. I think this is gonna be a massive sweater. It's supposed to be like one size, but I'm getting a little nervous because I did size up in my needles. I thought it was going to be like too big. Oh my god, I'm dropping my yarn. I'm dropping my yarn! But I think this is, and right now it's on like my longest cable, so it looks like a little bunched up. If you're not a knitter, that's why it looks a little weird. But yeah, I still haven't separated the sleeves, so I think this is going to be really pretty. And I haven't finished a sweater. I think it's been a while since I've worked on a sweater. Like 2 years ago I finished one, so it's been a while since I've completed a knitting project. So I think the plan is when I get back is I want to put on a wintry movie, more horror thriller based. I'm thinking probably The Shining, even though I've seen The Shining like 100 times, but I'm thinking something like that I already know the plot of, that I don't have to pay super close attention to and just knit, because I love doing that. I am so feeling like winter horror. I also want to read on my Kindle because I think I just want to not hold something heavy. And I read really fast on my Kindle, and I mainly read like, I need something easy after this. So I was like on YouTube last night watching a bunch of videos. Jordaline reads, I love her. Girl, if you're watching, I just want to be like best friends with you. You're so f***ing cool. She mentioned some Darcy Coates book, and I have, I have so many books on my Kindle that I've just not read. I started this morning Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates because it's post-apocalyptic and wintry. Check. For about 10% of that, I'm invested. I'm interested. I feel like I'm gonna fly through this book, which is what I want right now. I think this is gonna be more thriller, horror based, I'm hoping. So it starts off, your main character Claire, she is driving through this insane snowstorm. She's on the phone with her sister, who's freaking out because something's going on in the world. And you don't know yet, but her sister Beth is on the phone with her, and you need to get here. I have a bunker on my property. We can hunker down, see what happens. And so Claire is on the way to her aunt's house to pick her up because her aunt doesn't have a car. Take her back. They're gonna go back to her sister's house to just hold out potentially the end of the world. Claire's on the phone. She's in reception. She passes this car that's two cars that are abandoned, and sees like children's toys on them. Real freaky, right? And the call keeps going in and out, and then nothing. Like, Claire blacks out. She wakes up. She's in this bed. She's covered in bandages, and this man is in the room telling her she crashed and he saved her, and that's where I'm at now. And she's like, what the hell? She doesn't remember anything. She doesn't remember anything at all. Why she's there, why she's all beat up, scratched up. She has no clue. So very interested. So that's the plan for today. It's Sunday. After brunch, I really don't want to do anything. I might go to the craft store because I want to work on some Christmas presents, that idea I have. I want to make like ornaments for my family. Will I do that today? I might just go get the supplies today. And then do the rest later this week. I got my bib for the turkey trot on Thursday, on Thanksgiving. I'm nervous but really excited too. It's my first race. And your girl has been running more, and now I want to do all the runs. All that being said, I just want to chill. And that's the plan for today. But I will check back with you later. Hello, a little reading update. I am about, how far actually am I? I don't want to lie to you guys. Into Voices in the Snow. I am 18% into Voices in the Snow. I didn't read that much because me and Luke started another show last night. I started The Terror based off that Dan Simmons book, which I was going to read and then that just didn't happen. Anyway, it's really good so far. But Voices in the Snow, I'm only 18% in. I'm still interested. It's very weird. So Claire is now stuck in this house. It's described as a 17th century looking mansion in the middle of these woods where she thought no other houses were, that it was just national forest. Those acres and acres and acres of dense forest. And her aunt lived on the outskirts of it. So as far as she knew, no one lived there. And there's this massive house in the middle of it. And the man who rescued her, his name's Doran. He is conveniently there by himself and his very wealthy family, and he kind of talks in an older, because I said the house was like very dated and 17th century looking. He also talks in a very dated way, like he says mother and servants, and he's very caring and like attentive to her, to Claire, but she still doesn't like, I don't know if I trust this guy. He's kind of weird. He has a weird name, Fair. She's handling this much better than I probably would. Intense winter storm is surging outside. Like it has not stopped snowing in over 3 days. There's no sign of it letting up. Claire was also, when she was in the accident, Doran says that she was in he found her, she had just had an accident. She has all these scratches all over her, like claw marks, and I'm just like, I have a theory. So this may be a spoiler, and if it's not a spoiler, I'll keep this in. But if you don't want to hear anything else about this, like I'll give you a few seconds to leave. Go to the next part. Possible spoiler. I'm wondering if this is like, is he a werewolf? Is he an old werewolf and his like family clan lives in the middle of this forest? And was she attacked by his family? I'm only 18% in, but there's all those other story of like her trying to get to her aunt because there was apparently this world-ending event going on that she doesn't really know anything about because she doesn't watch TV, she doesn't watch the news, and she only knows because her sister called her and told her to get here. I have a bunker, we can hunker down here until things, you know, like as a reader you're still very much like, what the hell is going on? Am I wrong? Anyway, I feel like dookie, so I'm going to sit on the couch for the rest of the night. I will probably fly through this. If we hadn't started that show last night, I probably would have kept reading, but I want to know what happens. Very interested. It's post-apocalyptic, it's snowy, it's like exactly what I want to read right now, so I will update you all in a bit. Hey there, little reading update. Excuse the horrible lighting. Luke is building his Gundam and needs the lighting. Say hi.
No.
Why?
Because I'm not here to boost your viewership simply by putting my sexy, sexy mug in front of the screen.
I'm 80% through Voices in the Snow. I still don't know what the is going on. I'm interested in the post-apocalyptic part, and there's so much other shit going on besides that I'm not interested in. Like this other, like whole other side story with like being in this massive mansion in Doran and the mystery with him and this place. And it's my main complaint is with him. And I started listening to the audiobook while I was knitting. So I think I mentioned it before, his character speaks in a very like prim and proper, like almost old-timey accent, like not very modern at all, not casual conversation, and it's been bothering me. I'm like 83% through this book and I still don't know why he's really like that, other than that he lived a sheltered life, and this is a very sheltered life, and his mom was like a tyrant or whatever. But I don't know, I guess I'm having some issues with her characters, like they're so flat.
That's because they're on paper.
This is my husband, everyone. God. Anyway, but I was cracking up because the narrator, how she's doing his voice kind of reminds me of Mr. Burns, and I can't unsee it now. Hold on.
Can we seal off the attic? Barricade the trapdoors? Yes, that may be the best option. Eventually, we will have to eradicate them from the attic as well.
As well.
Please, would you hold this?
That's it. That's my update. I don't know if I like this book. I think like it's very different than what I thought it was going to be. I'm just a little frustrated. I don't know. I don't like the characters very much. Like the first 50-60% of the book is so repetitive and slow. I have been interested to pick it up. Like I wanted to read it and I'm going through it very quickly, but it's mainly because I just want to know what the fuck is going not. Anyway, that's my update. I'm gonna keep listening to that and knitting. I'll probably finish this tonight at this rate. And I will update you all tomorrow. Luke, would you like to say goodnight?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hi, how are you all? Oh, wait, hold on. Before we get started with anything, guess who did her first 5K today? Woo! And I finished it. I PR'd my 5K time. I'm so proud of myself. I know it's like, for some people it's just like a 5K. It's 3 miles. It's not that big of a deal. But to me it is. So I'm very proud of myself. I'm just really happy that I did it. It's just like, I can do hard things. A month, 6 weeks ago, I could barely run 1 mile without stopping to walk. And I ran this whole thing. I ran all 3 miles, which blew my mind. So yeah. Anyway, I did finish Voices in the Snow. Y'all, I don't want to yuck anyone's yum. This is a popular book. Like, I'm like legitimately asking, like, and it's my first Darcy Coates. I've not read her before. This is my first experience with her work. I've seen Voices in the Snow and her Dead of Winter. Those are the two I see floating around the book community stratosphere. I don't think she's for me. I don't think she's the author for me. I was so interested in this story. It started off so strong for me, and I was interested, and then I don't know at what point. Probably should have been a sign by the 50% mark that I wasn't jiving with this and I should have DNF'd it. But I just really wanted something wintry and post-apocalyptic. So it was like, check, check. I was so wrong about the reveal or the end. I'm not going to say what it is because I'm not going to spoil the video. But I'm going to leave my earlier guess in because I was so wrong. Like, so wrong. It was more of a threat to me, more of a thriller than a horror, with some horror elements, but also some sci-fi elements. There were so many eye rolls, especially in the latter half of the book, between the two main characters. So many eye rolls. They've known each other for 2 weeks, and it felt like so insta-lovey and weird, and I couldn't get with any, like, they just drove me nuts. Like, everything was very convenient. Anytime there was any type of obstacle well, it was like almost immediately figured out. So that was like, what the fuck is this? I don't know. It was just what? Like, the last like 10%, I was like, what? What? Why? And then the first 50% is so repetitive. I'm like, man, I just need to trust my gut more. But I so wanted like a snowy post-apocalyptic. I still want a winter horror. I'm going to find one. I'm going to read it. Voices in the Snow was not for me. Maybe 2 stars. I feel like that's me being nice. But let's talk about a book I really did enjoy. It took me most of the month to read, was Empire of the Vampire. I finished it. I loved it. I loved it so much. Voices in the Snow was a decent palate cleanser for this. I couldn't do it. I don't care if the paperback doesn't come out until May. I went out and got Empire of the Damned and I started it. And it's just funny because this exact same thing happened last year with Ninth House. I read Ninth House, was obsessed with it, couldn't get out of my head. As soon as I finished Ninth House, I went out and bought Hellbent. So it was this time last year because it was around my birthday. I'm going to stop the vlog because this might take me another couple weeks to finish. It's very long. The papers are like eyelash thin. It's like 700 pages, but I'm so happy that there are illustrations in this one too. I'm so happy. And I didn't even mention that earlier in the video. The illustrations are by Von Orthwick. Amazing job. The artwork in this, and there's a lot of it. It's not like there's like only 3 artworks. There's a ton of artwork. This one's of Dior. Isn't that stunning? I know there is one of just Gabriel. Gabrielle. Yes. That's Gabrielle, our MC. They're so pretty, and there's so much good art in this, and I'm so glad there's a ton of it. And it looks like there's going to be the same amount in Empire of the Damned. So, yes, I'm very excited. This is probably the last time I'm going to be able to wear my Meg Ryan sweatshirt. I didn't get it until like a couple weeks ago. And it's snowing outside. It's Thanksgiving and it's snowing outside. Yay, Minnesota. I think that's it. I'm going to wrap up the vlog. Pretty interesting. I don't know what's gonna happen when I sit down and edit all this. It's gonna be a mess. Hi, Mackie. Do you want to close out the vlog with me? Don't ignore our guest. I know it. Do you like my lipstick? This is my Mackie. Do you want to close out the vlog with me? I know you like the snow. Thank you so much for watching and being here. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to stay around longer and see what else is going on with me in my life, subscribe. I really appreciate the support. It means so much. And as always, thank you so much for clicking. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll have a new video for you soon. Bye! Bye.